I'm located here in Þórsmörk. This is a beautiful area, about 2-hour drive east and north of where we live in the town of Selfoss. It's the second to last day of the year, Wednesday, and the temperature is around, it's -7 Celsius, which I think is around 25 or 20 Fahrenheit, but beautiful winter day here in Iceland. I drove up here and I've been hiking for about an hour. I was planning to hike further. I'm on my way back now. I was planning to hike further, but I, I encountered this small river, and it took me a while to think about it, but I decided to try to yeah, cross it bare-legged. So I took my shoes off, put my pants up, and I was kind of 1/3 into it and it got too cold. I got back, but it was fun, and it's fun to press to one's limits and feel that you're alive. And it's good to connect with God here in the stillness among the mountains where the rivers are flowing. I wanted to take this opportunity now at the end of the year and just send this personal greeting and word of encouragement to all of you who have been journeying with me and my wife this year. We started sending out these Iceland Alive newsletters, in the first quarter or so of the year, and it's been a great journey. Thank you for praying for us and staying with us. I was listening to Acts, the story of how the gospel spread, how the church was birthed, and how the Holy Spirit in waves expanded the church. There were two thoughts that stood out to me as I was listening on my drive over here this morning. Something that I think will encourage you, and something good for us to take into the new year. Number one, when Ananias and his wife sold the land and lied about the prophets, the Holy Spirit notified Peter, or Peter was in tune with the Holy Spirit to expose that. And the thought that came to me is that being in tune with the Holy Spirit is vital to keep the church pure, but it's also vital to keep our lives pure. So I suspect that many of you are glad this year has passed with COVID and everything. It's been a year of challenges, but my sense is that there will be more challenges coming up. I don't want to preach gloom and disaster, but especially in the economic and the financial areas, there will be challenges coming up, and there may be social distress and other things going on in the coming years. And as these things are happening, we have to stay in tune with the Holy Spirit. We have to allow Him to keep our lives pure and to alert us when there are things that we may be engaging in, or if people are approaching us with something that is not of Him and is not pure. Peter was able to address this with courage and the power of the Holy Spirit and keep the church pure. You may have moments, and I may have moments, where we need to step up in the power of the Holy Spirit and either say yes or say no, depending on the circumstances, to both keep our lives pure, our family, or ministry, or whatever we are leading or engaged in. That's the first word. The second word that I wanted to share with you is a theme that is repeated again and again in Acts. That's how they repeatedly ask for courage to share the gospel. Even when the authorities early on in Acts threaten them and they say, you have to stop, they beat them up and they said, we'll beat you more if you don't stop. But they continued to share the gospel. And if you read about Paul and you read his letters, you will see again and again how Paul says, pray for me that I will have boldness and courage to boldly share the gospel, to proclaim the gospel. And this was very encouraging for me. I don't know what the situation you are in, but if Paul needed courage and he needed prayer for that, most of us probably need that also. And I was so encouraged by this word and strengthened to continue the work here in Iceland. There's really too little and not much happening as for gospel proclamation here in Iceland. So even if I do something and it fails, I can't go wrong because you there's not much happening now. So even doing something is better than nothing. But honestly, there's a huge potential, and I'll be spending some days in the first week of January here to seeking God, praying and fasting, and seeking God to tune in with Him, where to focus my efforts in the coming year. There are some ideas, some things that are potential, but I want to hone in on the very best things, not just the good things, but the very best things. So those were the two words I wanted to share with you. One about the importance of being in tune with the Holy Spirit to keep our lives and our ministry and our life and our family pure. And the second, to have courage to share the gospel. I'm reminded of my friend Pastor Ricebrook, his last book called The Human Right, which is the third book in the trilogy of the God's Not Dead book, Man, Myth, Messiah, and The Human Right, where the thesis is this, that the ultimate cornerstone human right, the human right that underbuilds the others, is the gospel, is the knowledge that there is a God. This truth makes a case for the worth of a human being, value, morality, and many other things. And you can see how easily you can make a case that to give someone the opportunity to hear the gospel really is the ultimate human right. You are giving someone a gift if you share the gospel with them with respect and love. What they do with it is up to them. You can just do as good a job as you can engaging with them and sharing the gospel passionately and with a strong case. And that gives me courage and boldness to keep on the work. Thank you again for journeying with us. Please let me know how I can be praying for you. My wife and I, we want to be praying for you. Let me know if there's something on your mind now at the end of this year and the beginning of the next one. I'm so grateful for this season, for this past year. It's been challenging, and I feel for those that may have lost loved ones or dealt with even going through COVID themselves. But at the same time, God is at work. I've sensed His presence through our journey, coming back from Nashville and coming here to Iceland. Things are moving in the right direction, and I'm greatly encouraged. Even as things may be falling apart around us in some of our societies, God's truth stands firm, and it becomes even more obvious as other things fall around it. So much grace to you. We'll be in touch. Bye bye.